It's mailbag time here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend by the time that you watch this video. Niners taking on the Indianapolis Colts on Monday Night Football. Coming up on today's show, taking questions from our loyal subscribers and all of the real ones who continue to support and watch this program as we talk all things Niners every single day right here on the show. And let's begin here. I'm so close to 184,000 subscribers. We're 196 people away from getting to another milestone marker. So if you want informative, insightful, thought-provoking, entertaining, nonstop Niners coverage, which comes your way every single day you're on, where you have a voice, as evidenced by this mailbag, lock us in and hit that subscribe button right now. VC Nick gets us started, off and running with this $5 super chat. Mac Jones to the Minnesota Vikings for 1 year. Then he hits free agency and will go to L.A. to replace Matthew Stafford, who will be retiring. We'll have a legit quarterback too with Curtis Rourke. So Mac Jones teaming up with Sean McVay, considering what Mac Jones did with Kyle Shanahan this year. 5-3 record, completed nearly 70% of his passes, a career high in yards per attempt, would be scary. Just because, like Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay does such a great job of putting his players in a position to succeed, maximizing the quarterback position. Here's the thing, though. If the Niners were to trade Mac Jones to the Minnesota Vikings, Mac Jones would not go to Minnesota for only 1 year. The Vikings would be making that trade, wanting Mac Jones to be their quarterback for the next few years. I don't think that they would bring him in on a dead duck year. I think that they would try to sign him to a contract extension for a couple of reasons. You make a move, you're going to have to give up, I would say, at least a second-round pick for Mac Jones. You want to make good on that investment. Only having him for 1 year wouldn't be great. The other thing, too, let's say you trade for Mac Jones. You give him a contract that is similar to the Baker Mayfield deal or the Daniel Jones deal, where you pay him between $30 and $40 million. If he plays with Minnesota like he did with the Niners, that $30 million per year number would be a bargain for Minnesota. So I think if the Niners were to trade Mac Jones to another team, they'd want to lock him up on a multi-year deal. As far as Curtis Rourke goes, practice window opened last week. We'll see if he even gets elevated to the active roster. The Niners could just not do that, and it would be a redshirt year for him. He played all of last year at Indiana with a torn ACL. So he's tough. He can hang in the pocket, take hits, and deliver the football. He can layer throws and throw with some solid anticipation. Not that mobile, but we saw with Mac Jones, non-mobile quarterbacks can work in Kyle Shanahan's system, and I'm excited to see how Curtis Rourke can develop. Spunky Guy with the $2 super chat. No to Tua Tagovailoa as a backup quarterback option if the Niners were to trade Mac Jones. Too many concussions. And I agree with you. What? He's already had like 3 or 4 documented concussions, and that doesn't include potentially some concussions that we don't know about. I've worried, too, about the reaction that he's had physically after the concussions, where we've seen some scary moments on a football field. There are pluses and minuses to his game. And you look at his numbers this year, the problem for him, too many turnovers, 15 picks to only 20 touchdowns. In this system, he could play point guard, distribute the ball. He's accurate, and he's put up some really good production. The negatives, he's small, doesn't have that strong of an arm, and he's not that mobile. So when you pair all of that, and that's just talking about his game, not the health, but then you add the health component on top of that, I'm with you, Spunky Guy. If the Dolphins release Tua, I wouldn't really want the Niners to sign Tua. I also would wonder what Shanahan would think about a left-handed quarterback, because your route concepts, your play designs would have to change with a left-handed quarterback. Your running scheme would have to get altered a little bit. And for receivers, it's an adjustment because the spin of the ball is different. Different tail. A lot of receivers will tell you that. Boye, $2 super chat, or is it Boye ET? Hopefully one of the 2 times I got it right. If the Niners traded Mac Jones, I'll take Daniel Jones. So I see what you're saying in theory, right? Trade away Mac Jones, who resurrected his career with Kyle Shanahan, bring in Daniel Jones, who this year resurrected his career with another good offensive coach in Shane Steichen. Daniel Jones is not going to be ready for a little while. I mean, he tore his Achilles 2 games ago. So he's not going to be ready to start next year, I don't think. Plus, yes, he's going to be a free agent. Will the Colts just bring him back on a 1-year contract, considering how he looked playing for that Colts team and the fact that this quarterback class is somewhat thin this year in the NFL draft? I also wonder if this is an outlier year for Daniel Jones. There's also this, too. After the Colts got off to that white-hot start, he started to really, really tail off. Well-liked, good leader, respected by his teammates and his coaches. It was great to see him play well this year after playing for the dogshit Giants, but I don't think he's an option for San Francisco if they trade away Mac. Mamba Legend, do you think the Niners will be the number 1 seed and win in Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60? So we are recording this show on Thursday afternoon during our live program, just getting a video for the weekend when I'm not in the studio. And that's, of course, going into Thursday Night Football between the Rams and the Seahawks. Huge game in the NFC West. Both teams locked at 11-3. And so one of those records will change, obviously, for the Rams or the Seahawks. And even if there's a tie, those records will change. The Seahawks, if they win, move up to the number 1 spot. The Rams, if they win, stay in the number 1 spot. If the Rams win and the Seahawks lose and the Niners beat the Colts, San Francisco can move up from the 5 seed to the 6 seed. So that is some movement there. Do I think the Niners are going to get the number 1 seed? I don't. I just think there's too much that has to go right for the Niners. There's too many scenarios that have to magically work out for San Francisco. And I don't see those playing out for the Niners to get that number 1 seed. Excuse me. What a story it would be, though, right? I mean, the Niners wouldn't have to travel for the NFL playoffs if they got that number 1 seed. And if they made it to the Super Bowl, they could just continue to stay in the Bay Area. It would be absolutely incredible if that were to happen. And what, they would become, I think, the 3rd team to win a Super Bowl at their own stadium. Rams did it in 2021. Did the Bucks do it in 2020? I think they won in Raymond James, right? Yeah, so the Niners would become the 3rd team ever to do that. Black Mask, for real. Justin Fields as a Brock backup next year. No way. No way. I know that there was some chatter about Shanahan liking Justin Fields also in the pre-draft process going into 2021 alongside Mac Jones and Trey Lance. But Justin Fields can't throw a touch, can't throw with anticipation, cannot throw over the middle of the field, has no vision. Honestly, I think what Justin Fields should do, make the switch to running back. I think that he could be a really dynamic runner. He's not a quarterback in this league. And it's a little bit unfair to him that he got started with an awful Bears organization, and then he goes to the Jets, and the Jets are hapless as well. He's never got quality coaching since Ryan Day at Ohio State. And I like what Justin Fields did at Ohio State. But keep in mind, had Ryan Day, had some great skill players around him, but we've never seen that Justin Fields again. But man, that semifinal against Georgia, I believe, was incredible at the time. I just don't think that he's an NFL quarterback, unfortunately. And for Kyle Shanahan, he needs an accurate quarterback. He needs a quarterback to be able to see the field and anticipate. Justin Fields can't do any of those things. Great athlete, not a great quarterback, though. Let's get to our sponsor before we get back to more of your questions. Today's 49ers Report brought to you by PrizePicks. It's the holiday season, the best time of year for sports, bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which game to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right. That place is PrizePicks. New feature alert, PrizePicks now has early payouts. If your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash out of those winnings before the game even finishes. Is your fantasy season already over? Your team might be cooked, but with PrizePicks, you don't have to wait until next year's draft. PrizePicks lets you play fantasy football every week. Pick your favorite players and win when they hit their projections every week, no draft required. 3-pick power play for Sunday Night Football. Christian McCaffrey more than a half rushing or receiving touchdown. George Kittle more than 61.5 receiving yards. And then Grandpa Phillip Rivers, PrizePicks has him looking like Joe Biden, more than 159.5 passing yards. That's how you play. Get your picks in less than 60 seconds. Join the millions of users. Sign up today. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use the code CLNS. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Ali or Ollie, is it a hot take to say the Niners should draft a safety in the first round? The Niners lack a proper lockdown safety, in my opinion. Is it a hot take? No. If a player like Caleb Downs is available at the end of the first round, obviously I think that'd be a difficult player to pass up on. He is the general of that Ohio State defense. He can play and make plays at all three levels. And I do think that the safety play for San Francisco has improved a little bit over the last couple of weeks with Jair Brown and Malik Mustafa, but I don't think they compare to the potential of a player like that. They are affordable. Jair will be going into the final year of his rookie contract next year. Malik Mustafa will be going into the third year of his 4-year rookie contract. They've shown some good moments. If the Niners want to stay cost efficient, they could elect to do that and run it back with that safety tandem. But if they go best player available, and there's a great safety on the board, I don't think it's an overreaction. Now, I do think that offensive line is going to be a huge need. Trent Williams is playing elite, but he's 37. You don't have a left guard currently. You could upgrade at center. You're going to lose Brandon Ayuk. I think you need a wide receiver. Ricky Pearsall's always hurt. You don't know when Nick Bosa and Mykel Williams are going to come back. You'll need a pass rusher and a defensive end. So I think those are other bigger needs for San Francisco than safety. Richard Wagner, what are the chances of Saleh and Mac Jones going to the same team if Saleh ends up taking a head coaching job? I never thought about that, but it is really interesting to think about. And if you're Robert Saleh, you never got a good quarterback when you were with the New York Jets. Your defense has played pretty damn well, especially in 2022 and 2023. To start 2024, your defense is playing solid. You got fired, and they were awful after you. The one thing that Saleh never had was a quarterback. I mean, they make the move for Aaron Rodgers, pops his Achilles. Second year with Aaron Rodgers, gets fired in, October. So Saleh knows Mac. Saleh comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree. I don't think it would be that hard for Saleh to find an offensive coordinator to team up with Mac, who played well in the Shanahan system. It's not crazy. I actually like what you pointed out there. Should we trade Mac Jones and picks for Maxx Crosby? The Las Vegas Raiders, I think, do need a quarterback. I think Geno Smith stinks, and they did sign him to that big deal, but I don't think that should stop Las Vegas from trying to find their quarterback. I think what the Raiders instead do, they draft a quarterback. They're going to be in a position to get a top 3 pick in the NFL draft. Next week, Giants-Raiders is going to be a huge game for draft positioning. And this quarterback class might be thin. Headlined by Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore. Outside of that, little sketchy. So it really depends on which quarterbacks declare for the draft, which quarterbacks go back to school. But I think the Raiders, ideally, would draft the quarterback so that quarterback is under that rookie contract throughout the duration of that rookie contract. And they'd be much more affordable than a player like Mac Jones, who you'd probably have to sign to a contract extension. The other thing with Maxx Crosby, it would take multiple ones to get him. It's one of the best players in football right now. Jarhead, when are we thinking Yetur Gross-Matos will be back in the lineup? Maybe as soon as Monday night. But he's always been hurt since signing with the Niners. So I really don't know. Practice window is opened. It was opened last week. He's questionable as of this recording, but we will see. He could really help out this Niners pass rush from defensive tackle and defensive end, the highest graded pass rusher on this Niners team. Ricardo Raygoza. Why would they let Sebastian Valdez dress the season and didn't let him play? Okay, so Shanahan actually talked about that this week. They wanted to reward him for his hard work on the practice squad, elevate him from the practice squad to the active game day roster for all of his hard work so that he could get an NFL game check not just a practice squad game check. Now, I'd love to see him in action, but I think the Niners are playing the developmental role here, and they want to develop him for next year. But the Hulk certainly had a good training camp, had a good preseason, and I do think that he can become a player for this football team. Yoshi tuned in from Japan. Chase Sr., will Eric Kendricks play against the Colts? The Niners linebackers missed too many tackles against the Titans. Yes, they did, and that's led to the run defense being bad. What is Eric Kendricks really good at? Being a run defender. He's had more than 100 tackles in 9 straight years. What does he not do? Miss tackles. What can you not do against Indy? Be bad against the run. Jonathan Taylor is averaging more than 5 yards per carry. They're going to run him into the ground, especially with Phillip Rivers. So I hope that Eric Kendricks can play coming off that calf injury. Who you got? Niners, Colts, type SF for San Francisco, IND for Indianapolis. Get those predictions in for Monday night.